A Dog and Her 12 Boys, Episode 3, The Spider Floor. I felt them before I smelled them. Slick heat, oil-twitch legs, hunger without eyes. The floor beneath us creaked. Not metal, not bone. Something in between. 12 in tight and laid the shield work down. 12 psychic veils, one over each skull. They wouldn't know it was there, but it would soften the first strike. Protect the thoughts. Muffle the pain. I have done this too many times to trust even one clean kill. Boy 3 would lead. Top killer. Muscle index off charts. Battle memory deep. I paired him with Boy 8 and Boy 11, both weak, both green. They'd soak, learn, level. Low threat. I pulsed across the link. Mid-speed, medium scale. Proboscis injectors, web-burst glands, weak legs. Avoid the mandibles. Boy 5 laughed. He always laughed before blood. Boy 9 checked the magazine on his sawed-off and chambered 3 shells. Golf club over his back. 2 machetes strapped to his legs. All legal, all brutal. The first wave hit. They landed like meat bags full of wire, their legs snapping against the ground with wet clicks. One missed the landing and slammed into a steel beam, rupturing on impact. Its insides were black, glistening, and full of tiny, twitching maggots. Boy 5 stomped through the slop and crushed a half-alive crawler beneath his boot, howling with joy. Boy 8, still tangled in webbing, drove a nail through one's head. It gurgled and flopped, its mandibles chattering long after death. 6 spiders, car-sized, spindly, low armor. They came from vents in the ceiling, scuttling like whispers. Boy 6 cracked one mid-air with a sledgehammer. It sprayed white goo like melted plastic. Boy 10 rolled under a second and fired upward. Uzi emptied. Carapace shredded, still moving. Boy 3 gutted one straight down the spine with a halberd. Not clean, but effective. The weaker boys panicked. 8 slipped, caught a web to the leg. 11 screamed. That was rare. I pulsed calm, stabilized their cortexes. The team adjusted. Clean up, I ordered. Boy 7 used a garrote to crush the neck of the final spider, holding it still while Boy 4 emptied a nail gun into its mouth. I healed their bruises, repaired tendons, reset a dislocated knee. Next, I whispered. Boy 2 tripped the next plate. Intentional. The air screamed. Wave 2. 8-legged brutes. Thicker armor. Acidic hair. One of them grabbed Boy 9 mid-swing and wrapped his leg in a whip-fast coil of sinew. It began to pull. I heard the bones in his femur splinter like old wood. Before he could scream, Boy 4 decapitated the brute with a hatchet swing so hard it snapped the handle. The acidic blood sprayed in an arc and dissolved part of Boy 4's vest, exposing melting flesh. He didn't flinch. He bit down on his own lip and kept going. 2 of them exploded when killed. Boy 1 lost half his sleeve. Boy 8 got sprayed with alkali. Skin bubbled. I cooled it before it ate through the muscle. They used everything. Maces, hammers, crossbows, lead pipes. Boy 12 brought down one with a sledge wrapped in barbed wire. Boy 9 rammed a sword through one's eye while screaming in 3 languages. Wave 3. They came with human faces, fused clones, distorted and wet. They spoke, not words, but fragments, voices of the dead. Mom, one gurgled. Help me, croaked another. Boy 11 couldn't move. I tasted the terror behind his eyes, a memory unlocked, a girl with no arms, a pit full of bodies. I didn't ask. I just flooded him with white fire and let him scream his way back to movement. Boy 6 split one clone down the middle with a cleaver. It fell apart like unzipped meat. Boy 11 froze. The others screamed. I boosted resolve and flooded them with suppression chemicals. They tore into the things. Boy 5 dual-wielded chainsaws. Boy 10 lit one on fire with a whiskey bottle and shouted scripture. Boy 3 didn't speak. He just killed. Always clean. Always head or heart. By wave 4, they knew the pattern. By wave 5, they didn't care. I watched from the center. Eyes shut. Ears flattened. Tails still. My mind stretched over the entire floor. Directing. Healing. Burning my reserves to keep them upright. Wave 6 brought silkweavers. Thin. Fast. Legs like razors. One wrapped Boy 2's hand and tore it backward. Bone shattered. I couldn't save the hand. But I saved the boy. He fought the rest with a spike driven through his stump. Wave 7 cracked our line. That's when the floor changed. Beneath the blood and ichor, the surface began to shift. Not move. Shift. Like skin rippling. I felt a presence. Not queen, not brute. Something older. Something watching. I tasted rot and memory. I barked to the boys, but they couldn't hear. The floor had begun to hum. Wave 8 was coming, but it wasn't alone. One boy down. Boy 7. Left arm gone. Bitten off at the socket. No scream. Just blood and heat. I stopped the bleed. Sealed the neural gap. He stood. Took up a spear. Fought one-handed. Killed 2 more before the wave ended. I growled low. Rage in my throat. The psychic field pulsed hot. I hit the next wave myself. Claws in mind space. I tore one spider's cortex apart like paper. Wave 8. Wave 9. Double waves. Swarm tactics. I howled commands. Garrots. Shivs. Sledge hooks. Shattered blades. Bones used as clubs. The boys were wreckage in motion. Violent art. Every kill gave them 20%, maybe less. But it stacked. I could feel it in their minds. More stable, more aware. I kept the pulses steady. Don't let them think. Just let them hunt. Final wave. Queen type. 6 meters. But before she came, it emerged. A spider the size of a dog. No armor. No threat. It crept to the center of the floor and sat. Watching. I pulsed a halt. The boys froze mid-breath. The spider raised one leg and tapped the floor. Tap, tap, tap. Then it spoke. Not aloud, but through the lattice in my skull. Do you know why we test? Its voice felt like hot oil poured over my brainstem. I lunged. Boy 3 followed, swinging the halberd in a clean arc. The spider burst apart in a puff of smoke and static. Gone. A decoy. A message. The floor shuddered. Heat rolled up through my paws. And then the queen arrived, roaring up through the floor like a birthing god. 6 meters. Armored legs. Acid dripping from every joint. Spawn sacs pulsing. She hit hard and fast. One leg smashed Boy 8 into a wall. Another tore the halberd from Boy 3's grip and snapped it in half. I pushed the shield lattice to max and dove, psychic claws latching onto her brainstem. It was like trying to choke a storm. The boys swarmed. Boy 10 leapt onto her back with a fuel cell in one hand and a fire axe in the other. Boy 5 slid under her belly, chainsaws revving, carving upward. Acid sprayed. Sparks rained. My field screamed as the boy's pain hit all at once. She bucked, hissed, and split the floor beneath her. I drove a pulse straight into her cortex. Boy 10 jammed the fuel cell into the wound. I ignited it. The queen shrieked like metal tearing in space. Fire roared up her spine. Boy 3 plunged his entire arm into the melting thorax, ripping nerves apart with his bare hand. When she finally died, the floor shook with the weight of it. The 12 stood soaked in acid and gore. 2 boys hurt, one armless, one mangled hand, but breathing. Still mine. We descended the next stair, blood on every boot, gore across the walls. Below us, Something roared, and it sounded like it knew our names.